I got to the end of this year and I thought, how in the world did all of this happen?
This is the Sweno Creative Podcast. I'll be your host, professional photographer and video content creator, Brian Sweno. In this podcast, we will discuss all parts of business, marketing, mindset, creativity, and self-improvement. Sometimes with the help of a special guest to provide some incredible outside perspective.
It is really cool going back and watching those and seeing the first one we did now 4 years ago.
Was it 4 years ago? No way. Did we skip a year?
Yeah. So we recorded the first one, then it was 2 years before we did the last one.
Oh, okay.
I thought it had only been one, but
yeah,
it had been 2 years.
That's crazy.
To see where we had just both at that time, the first podcast, the previous year, we'd both just left our jobs.
Yeah.
Decided to go in full time.
Yeah.
And then it just skyrockets since then. It's just a lot has happened.
A lot has happened.
And then looking where we were from that point to last year. Last night I sat down and watched last year's.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Just the amount of things that have happened, what we talked about in that one. We had goals that we talked about.
Oh, did we?
And we have crushed all those goals and then some. So it was cool to see that too, that we didn't like just fall flat on our face, you know, and say we had all these goals. I think we both exceeded what we had said good. Anyway.
Well, we at least didn't have to go get real jobs.
Right.
So that's
a win. Right. We talked about this the other day, but like in both of our businesses, we both increased.
Yeah.
Year over year, every single year so far.
Yeah.
Even last year, us taking on Jacket Nation and adding another whole business into it.
Right.
My business still went up, not as much as I wanted it to, but it still went up. And even with the time allotment of, you know, taking basically a quarter of the year and placing it into another business.
Right.
Still went up.
But in the whole, you added a whole business that you're half partner with. So it's like, that's a win, you know, even though Sweno Visuals didn't go up as high as you wanted it to, you like added a whole nother thing. So win.
It's a weird dynamic to try to figure out too.
Oh yeah.
Like that, I mean, obviously it was our first year doing it. We learned a lot, a lot, especially about scheduling things and how to like produce the commercials in a more efficient way and all the things that you learn taking on something like that. But we took on some help. We learned some lessons there.
Yep. People are
some good
fun.
lessons, some bad lessons. And, you know, it's just a process of growing. And I think that's a testament to what we've just been doing here. We're not experts on all this stuff. We're just trying out here to figure it out like everybody else is. So
for sure.
What are some of the things that you've learned the most over the last year since we talked?
What have I learned the most?
Yeah. Like if there was like one word to sum up how last year went in terms of a lesson you learned, whether that was hey, we maybe shouldn't do this again, or we should do this again. Like what's something that comes to your mind that?
Oh, something that comes to mind of last year. Actually, probably last year feels like a blur. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. And I know that seems really kind of dumb because I don't guess I learned as many lessons last year as what I've learned previous years for me, because I didn't add a business to my business. But I think I got to the end of this year and I thought, how in the world did all of this happen? And I'm still sane and enjoying it.
At least a little bit.
At least a little bit. I'm not like, you know, I'm not in an institution and I'm not, I don't, it's like I got to the end of the year and I'm adding up numbers and I'm doing all the things you do at the end of the year and you're thinking back and it's like, how did this even happen? Like how? Because I don't know. I should
did it. That's why.
I know. I should have a backlog of stuff when you really think about it. And I'm grateful. I'm super grateful for the people that have trusted me, you know, with their marketing and their media and, you know, looking back and being able to, you know, even jump in with you guys on Jacket Nation. And I think one thing I guess I did kind of learn through some of this is like the lane, you know, and I've talked about that a little bit before, I think from our last few conversations, but I think for me, I've found the lane that is working for me really well. And my lane is not your lane, but my lane can come in with your lane sometimes and other people's lanes, you know? And I really enjoy that, you know?
That's one of the biggest themes that we talked about in that last podcast last year was how you really like to have your own thing, but pop in.
Yeah.
And be a part.
I'm still on that train.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest things too, that more of that. We did a little bit more of that this year.
Yeah.
And we had just finished up the I-44 thing last time we talked.
We did.
Which was crazy.
It was crazy.
And now that's coming to fruition.
Right.
And
yeah, the first episode is killer. It's killer.
What did you think? Like, what was your thought process of seeing how, you know, intercutting your footage into there and having the Cine lifter and doing all those things?
It's really amazing. I mean, it, you know, all that, you guys obviously did way more work than I did on that. But to be able, and I've known Nathaniel ever since he was a kid. And so to see what I remember of Nathaniel back then to who he is and what he's doing now and capable of, and just being able to kind of all put our brains together and our collaborative fun together on that was just, I don't know, seeing it come together is like, this is cool.
Right. There's been some ups and downs so far with that. As far as last time we talked, I'm going to reference that quite a bit. So like if you're watching this and haven't seen the last one, in the very first one, we dive into basically your whole entire history from conception to where you were at that point.
Yeah.
Last year, we kind of did the what's happened since.
Right.
And then this year, we're going to kind of reference those a little bit. But at the last year's conversation, like it's almost the same week this year as what we did last time.
Crazy.
So we're kind of keeping this as a tradition almost of like, checkpoint almost.
Yeah.
But so since the last time we have finished that, all the production has finished. We've talked to a lot of different brands. We've been in touch with people from Netflix, Hulu, Daily Wire, Ford Motor Company, Discovery Channel.
That's crazy.
And we've learned a lot. It's a whole different world trying to step into that side of things. Yeah. And it's one of those things where you have to have an in. Like you can't just approach Netflix and be like, hey, look at this cool thing we made.
Right.
They don't even open your email.
Yeah. You've got to have somebody pushing it in.
Right. You got to have some sort of like attorney or it's basically an attorney that is a middleman. And then they obviously take a cut of the money if it sells. So
of course
you got to have, it's like almost like an actor has an agent.
Yeah.
You have to have an agent for your production company essentially.
Wow. That's crazy.
So there's basically no way to get something onto Netflix unless you have a guy from Netflix.
That's wild.
Which we don't. So we're trying to figure out all these other options, and we've had a lot of conversations. Nathaniel has been doing all that on the back end. And right now, just so I can reference this later on, right now we have the most potential with the Discovery Channel.
Really?
And of getting it sold.
Interesting.
And we've been talking through all these different options, and we literally just did another interview last week, I believe it was.
Oh, wow.
To fill in a little bit of a gap on the second episode.
Yeah.
So there's also those things that it's weird to be a part of something.
Interview with somebody in the.
Yeah, it was a highway patrolman.
Oh, okay.
It was about something that happened in episode 2.
Okay.
The big collision and all that. So, we just finished that last week.
Oh, wow.
I went to Nathaniel's office and helped set up the lighting and do the stuff for an interview with the highway patrolman. And
from 2 years ago.
Yeah. And so that was kind of a learning thing too, of how the process of this stuff works.
Yeah.
Like especially in your world, it's you shoot it, edit it, deliver it the next day, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. It's done.
This stuff is years.
Yeah.
And that's a different mindset to be in when you're trying to go after something or even talk with clients about it.
Right.
You know, it's a year and a half after we filmed it right now.
That's
and
wild.
We literally just filmed one of the last interviews.
Yeah.
And that's if we don't need anything else.
Right.
And so those are the gaps, and it's a crazy different project and different headspace to be in.
Right.
Not only when you're shooting it, but delivering it and distribution. Like this thing might end up being a thing where we have to go try to sell it ourselves, or we have to self-distribute it.
Weird. Well, that's crazy because there's different, I guess that leads into something that I've thought about, and we've talked about this a little bit, is the different types of this business. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty comfortable in what I've figured out. Mm-hmm. And I know you've talked a lot about moving to this next level of a little bit longer process, more polished process. Mm-hmm. I know that I'm really good at just coming in and knocking something out and getting something out there. And the market that I'm in, that's perfect because they don't have a lot of time,
right?
And I've been seeing, like, there's this new guy up in the lake area that is doing these higher end homes, but his stuff is looking really, really good, like really good. And I look at it and I'm like, I get jealous. I'm like, man, I don't know that I even have the patience to be able to do all of what he's doing to make that video.
Right.
And then I have to remember, like, that's okay, because what I'm bringing to the table is effective and it's working. Sold a ton of properties. But some of those properties need that, like that, just that touch that I can't get to. And that's okay. Cause it's like, you've got me over here and then you've got you that's doing bigger production stuff. I know you've sent in some, things this year that have kind of stretched you a little bit, trying to go after some of this bigger stuff. And then you've got Nathaniel, who's taken it to an even bigger level. And then now on like the Speedway show, or I think that's what it's called.
Speedway. Yeah.
Speedway. That process, I remember sitting down with everybody at Nathaniel's and he was like, well, I've got all you guys together and I'm really excited that you're all not going to work for any money, because we don't know if we can even do this or not. But that's going in with that kind of mindset takes a lot of back end to be able to support that mindset.
Right.
Does that make sense? You can't just, like 4 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to, I was just trying to feed the family, let alone, float a year and a half or 2 years worth of production.
Right.
That's it's like mind blowing to me. And that's still kind of mind blowing, because that's not how, it's not the, if I needed to mind shift it, I think I could.
Yeah.
And you're making that shift. But I haven't had that, because I got to just come in and do my thing with that.
Yep.
And be able to go, here's the footage. I can't wait to see what you do with it.
Right.
And I made little edits, like little social media edits along the way of my stuff. Like, and I think they all do really well. They get some good traction online, but being able to think about like this huge project is, I don't know that my head could do it.
Right. He definitely has like that mindset. Like Nathaniel is very good at that long form storytelling.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a good hybrid thing. I grew up on internet stuff,
right?
Social media content,
right?
And I have like that middle ground of like social media storytelling is how I kind of sum up my style.
For sure.
Is like, I know how to get people's attention. I know how to hook somebody, but I also know how to tell a really good story.
Yeah.
But if you had me editing 6-part documentary series, I don't know if I would be able to do it, but it wouldn't be as good as someone who specializes in that.
Yeah.
And that kind of lends to what you were just saying about that other guy at the lake. That's his specialty.
Yeah.
You have your specialty, which is you're going to get it super fast. You're going to get it really good, and you're going to know exactly what you're getting.
Right.
And so people can count on that.
Right.
You got a guy over there who wants to make certain things and infuse that next level of things.
Yeah.
There's always going to be that. And I was that whenever I first started here.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just snap a photo and be like, oh, I'm good, pay me.
Right.
I didn't want to do that. I always want to push what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that has been one of the things over the last year where I've tried, we talked in the last conversation about in 2025, I really wanted to push myself in terms of making things that weren't just paid things.
Yeah.
And so I've had the opportunity to work on a couple of those projects. One of them is coming back around now, and I'll be finishing up that over the next month with a dude that wants to get into the UFC. His name's Ray Hayes.
Yeah.
And he had a fight lined up. We were doing this sort of like little mini documentary sort of thing on him and his lead up to the fight.
Yeah.
Then the fight got canceled. The guy pulled out.
We did a little flying around him at one point on that too.
Yeah, which is awesome. And then, so he had another fight, but we couldn't get access to go to the venue and shoot it. So that kind of fizzled out. And so everything I had wanted to do, I kind of had to set that on the back burner. But now he's got another fight. Yeah. And it's at the end of February. Him and his brother both are fighting.
Oh, wow.
And so on the same card. So I'll be able to go. I'll actually be able to
let you in.
Yep. It's in Springfield rather than in Kansas City. So the venue just said they don't allow any outside media, which is whatever. I get it. But, you know, you're a regional promotion in Missouri. So
you're really not.
Come on. You know, but whatever. The rules are the rules. I just had to take my idea and set it to the side for a little bit. But now we can go full force back at it again. We know we have access.
Yeah, it's great.
And so that's going to be something that's coming here in the next month.
Yeah, it's
I was able to like really hone in and do that. Another thing was making YouTube videos. I've always wanted to do that. Yeah. We talked about that in the last one. Yeah. I've now made like 30 YouTube videos and I'm gaining traction and getting some subscribers now. So like that's something I've always wanted to do. And just seeing that last year was my busiest year and we took on another business and all the other things. Right. And I was the most consistent at doing that I've ever been. That's on good. Top of all the other things, just because I made it a priority.
Yeah.
So in terms of social media things, you kind of mentioned it a little bit about posting some social media content. What are your thoughts about social media and how do you go about using it in your business? Because you post a lot of just flying. Your Tesla, that's been a pretty sweet little addition.
It's been a thing here lately.
But like how do you approach it? Is it just like, hey, this is something that I want to post. I'm just going to go fly for the fun of it and post it for the fun of it?
Yeah.
Or are you intentionally like, hey, maybe someone who's a client or potential client is going to see this and then like, is it just posting? Is it just throwing stuff at the wall or is it more calculated?
I want to say that it's a little of both. As far as social media goes, I think we're pretty inundated with social media, and by
that you mean it bombarded. It's all the time.
It's constant. And I have like two schools of thought where I've got a buddy up in Kansas City. His name's Travis. He does pretty close to what I do most of the time. And he posts a lot, like when he's on a job, when he's doing something, you know, he posts quite a bit of stories and I always think, man, it would be, you know, I should do more of that. But then I start thinking about all the different things that I do in a day or in a week. And I think if I posted everything that I'm doing, everybody's going to get so burned out on it that a lot of what I do is repetition. It really is. Like I'm kind of a cookie cutter guy, you know, like through the summer, I'm just going hard. And it's, you know, once you've shot a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, there's certain variations of that, but there's, you know, it's not real glamorous. Mm-hmm. And I think I don't want to constantly be posting like one customer's stuff.
Yeah.
Because I try to make it all about everybody. Everybody gets my same attention most of the time. And so I have that, I'm torn with social media right now. And that's why I post a lot of just kind of stuff that's interesting to me, I guess. You know, when I go fly for fun, which I don't do very often. I fly every single day nearly, but a lot of it is not just for fun. And so I've tried to intentionally fly for fun this year. I've tried to intentionally, you know, like when I do stuff like at the racetrack or I do something for the city, like with the parade downtown or with whatever, you know, that kind of stuff. I want people to know that this is what I do. I'm still in that mindset, even though I think most people, when they know who it is. I had somebody this morning, they were like punching my name into a computer and they're like, "Are you the guy that flies at the football game?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "I thought I knew that name from somewhere."
All right.
So the goal, I think, is just to keep myself in front of people, and the rest of it just kind of comes. Does that make sense with social media? I'm not, like, I just posted a story about you and I mean, right. But I post stuff that I'm interested in, but not necessarily stuff that I'm like, not my everyday, what I do every day.
Right.
And I've been seeing some weird stuff on TikTok. Like, if I get on there and I start looking at people that are in my space, they're like being way more transparent than I would ever be in that kind of a space. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, they're saying, like, "How much do you make in a day as a real estate photographer?" And they'll go through like, cha-ching, cha-ching, and I'm like, is this where we're at now? Like, is this really where we're at now? Because that was always something that I've kept close to my chest all my life. I've kept that, you're not supposed to talk about what everybody makes. Like, just go out and make it.
Well, see, I think a little bit of the opposite.
I think it's a generational thing because we're in a different generation.
Yeah. You're a dinosaur. We established that in the last episode as well. But like, I love seeing that. But I love watching other people's experience and seeing what I can take from that. And I'm like, oh, this dude's making $400,000 as a photographer and making YouTube videos.
Right.
I need to figure out how to do that as well. I take it as like motivation.
Right.
Some people see that and they're like, oh, I could never do that.
Right.
There's a good and a bad, I think, with it. But in terms of like that, it's interesting to you probably. And you probably watch that whole video and be like, oh,
I actually watched just the first part of it. And then I'm just like, no. And I scroll on, like, and maybe that's the dinosaur in me. I don't know.
That needs to be on a shirt too. Just the dinosaur in me.
But it's like the other day, my son is starting to kind of ask a lot of questions about what I do and how he could potentially be, part of this one day. And, I said something about, well, you need to go with me and learn how to shoot a house. And he goes, well, I already know how to shoot a house. I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, I watched your video. I watched you shoot one. And it was the one where I put my 360 camera on top of my camera. Mm-hmm. And I just did a high speed, Right. So he thinks that because he watched that video, he knows how to shoot a house. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I could just give you a camera and go. You got this, right? You got it.
That's when they learn there's a lot more to it.
There's a whole lot more to it. And that's, I guess for me, I don't want to be that transparent. And maybe that's a downfall of me. And I'd love to maybe go back and forth with that a little bit, but I've always had the ability to do things pretty rapidly and make stuff happen very quickly, no matter where I was at. Mm-hmm. So making a whole lot of tasks in a day happen without anybody really knowing that all of those tasks would happen. Mm-hmm. So like when I was customer service manager at one of the factories here, it was nothing to take over 100 phone calls in a day and answer over 100 emails in a day, and not even think that was a hard day. And all of those have some kind of task with them, hey, mm-hmm. I need to know this answer. I need to know this, go out and figure this out, get back with them, right. Like it's a constant, like, and when I started working in a ministry, I started giving all my secrets away of how I did all that, of how I made all that happen, how I did all those things. And then I wasn't needed anymore. And so even now as my own business, there's a lot of things that I've figured out that if you want to figure them out, that's great. But I'm not going to just show you my cards.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm going to show you some stuff, but I still keep some things kind of close.
Right.
I do have somebody that has worked with me. Graham has worked with me for a couple of summers now. And I trust Graham 100% because I've literally, like, he could like literally go and start this business, you know, the photography side of it, because I've shown him everything that I do. And if somebody else worked for me, I'd have to do the same thing. But I'm not just going to get on TikTok and be like, this is how much I make every day. Mm-hmm. It's just wild to me.
I think it's the difference of you don't want to show and tell and teach and do all that. Like, you're in the business to do the business.
Yeah, I think so.
You're not in the business to make
that's
TikTok
not bad,
video.
is it?
I don't think so.
Is that bad?
I think it's a little bit dinosaur of you. But I mean, there's nothing wrong in, like, there's nothing that says you need to do that.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that guy doing it.
Right. No,
also,
I'm not.
You know?
Yeah, I'm not saying that he can't. You know, go for it if that's what you want to do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, but like I'm taking that as like, what I want to do is I want to be open with everybody.
Yeah.
I will tell you exactly how much I make. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the possibility that that's a thing now.
Yeah.
I'm literally living my dream. I get to play with cameras and do what I love for a living.
Oh, I am
and
too.
Make a decent living at it.
Yeah.
You know? So like the possibilities, if other people want to learn, I want to be open.
Yeah.
Am I going to tell you to the cent on TikTok what I'm making every day? I would if you asked, I guess, but I don't know why that would be, you know.
Right.
But like, I see that as potential and motivation.
Yeah.
And so I got motivated by other people sharing their experience.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of see that as that dude's just sharing his experience. With the caveat that he's probably selling some sort of a course also to help people. And that's basically him saying, here, I got these results. I could help you get the results as well.
Yeah.
That's the caveat with that stuff is.
I think for me though, it's like, if I could have a TikTok and it not show up in this area, but everywhere else could see it, I'd probably do it.
Right.
Cause I don't want Joe Schmo to know everything about me. I just don't.
Right. See, I also have a different thought of that because the 99.9% of people are not going to execute.
That's true.
So you could literally give away every single thing that you've done step by step.
But you still got to get off the couch.
Most of these people aren't going to do it. And that's why I'm open with everything.
Yeah.
If there's photographers here that want to learn what I do exactly, I'll teach you.
Yeah.
I'm literally part of the business plan this year is to set quarterly classes of me teaching exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, I saw that.
Do it.
Yeah.
There's way more people here that need cool sports photos than what I can provide myself.
But here's the thing is that I know how to shoot cool photos. I know how to shoot cool sports photos, but I had you shoot my son's cool photos.
Right.
Because you're better than me. Period.
But like some people, like I can't just hold on to all the knowledge. I want to teach for one.
Right.
Like I that brings me more joy than anything else is teaching someone else who actually wants to do it.
Yeah.
If I can make that difference in their life and then they can go on and make a career and have as much fun doing this as I've done.
Right.
That's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And that's one person. Yeah. And that's the reason why I want to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Is putting it out there. And if that guy impacted one person on TikTok, more than one person probably saw his TikTok of that.
Right.
If that impacted one person and they saw the possibility of being able to do what they love for a living,
right.
Maybe they didn't think it was possible before.
Right.
We had that talk in our first podcast.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
It's crazy that this is possible.
This is
in
possible.
Lebanon, Missouri. We're sitting here. You're a drone pilot for a living.
Right. And I take pictures too.
You're the drone dude though. I mean, like, you know, but
I take pictures of I take pictures of houses.
Right.
Like that's
so like
architecture.
We play with cameras and drones.
Right.
For a living.
Right.
And make significantly more than we did working 60 hours at a factory.
Correct.
What world are we living in right now? You know?
But I do have taxes that I'll have to pay, and that's going to really not be fun.
Right. That's the other part you got to learn. With making more money comes other things.
Yes, comes more taxes.
The government's not like, hey, I'm going to give you some more.
No.
You know?
No.
It gets a little wild out here sometimes. No. That's part of the growing process.
I learned really fast that part of what I have to do, discipline myself every week to put back a certain amount so that I have my taxes. It took gosh, that was a hard lesson, but I learned it.
How do you go about that in terms of like, we don't need to get into specifics. You already said you don't want to do numbers, but like at the beginning of the year right now, we're in January.
Yeah.
Do you set a goal for yourself at the end of the year? Like, hey, I want to be around here. Or is it just, I want to maintain, I want to level up a little bit
as far as
monetarily, or in terms of, you did 800 and something properties you put up. How many was that?
I did 800. It's like 820 something, I think. I don't know. So
it, like, the thought process from your end, is it, I want to do more properties next year? Is it, I want to do more revenue next year? Is it, I just want to live and sustain?
I think it's a mixture of all that. So next year I do have a goal, I think. I would like to, I've got my eye on a guy that I want to hire next year, and he's in a different town, but it's a town that I've been gaining some traction in that town. Mm-hmm. And I would like to be able to hire him next year, so that I would basically, there'd be me and two other guys that would be doing it. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of a goal for me. I want to shoot. I don't want to shoot less properties. I want Warson Media to continue to shoot more properties, mm-hmm. but I want myself to not shoot as many properties.
Right.
So if I can figure out how that all works, that's a slight mind shift for me. In just, it's kind of wild to, just kind of trust the process is kind of where I'm at. Every week I have a set amount that I've got to put back, so that I know that my taxes are taken care of, and my, insurance stuff, and like just the workings are fine. Mm-hmm. And then obviously you want your family to be okay. So financially, I think I don't really have very many goals, other than I would like to be able to pay my taxes, so I save that. I want to shoot more properties, but I want to shoot less myself. So I want to focus on the fly-through videos, the properties that are like that are more
that need you,
that need me
and your expertise, specifically.
Yeah, because it's easier to teach somebody to shoot a house than it is to teach them how to fly a drone through a house. Mm-hmm. It's just that it's something. Flying a drone like that isn't just, you don't just pick up a drone and start flying it like that. You've got to have, there's stick time, it's just time. Mm-hmm. And fortunately I spent a lot of that time as a hobby. And so now it just comes second nature. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to just hand my son a drone and say, fly it through the house. It's just that's not going to happen. So I think that for me, I want to continue to grow, but I'm also super thankful for where I'm at. And so even if next year is just flat, or even if I don't make quite as much next year, I'm still going to be incredibly thankful. You know what I mean? I got in the corporate world when I worked at factories here in town, and I always had goals and objectives that I always had to try to reach. And the problem for me was that my bosses would always give me goals and objectives that always had some kind of factor involved that I had no control over.
Right.
And that always drove me crazy, because I'm like, I'm going to get to the end of the year, and this outrageous number that you just set for me is not going to happen. And I already know it's not going to happen. But you want me every day to fight these fires, customer call-ins. I mean, that was my thing. I thrived on making sure that the customers were taken care of. I just thrived on it. And so those never were the goals. It was never like, how satisfied is the customer with what we're doing? That was never a goal. It was always, we need to reach this sales number. And I'm like, how am I supposed to do that?
Right.
I'm a customer service guy.
You're not the sales guy.
Right. But there was always a sales goal in there, and there was always all these weird stuff. And I've been 5 years without actually setting a goal for myself. And I've not been disappointed in myself, yet, you know, and I don't know if I know some people are really goal oriented. Like they want that. For me, I think the goal has always been provide for the family, make sure that we're taken care of, and anything that's above that, man, it's great. Mm-hmm. It's great. And I got to the end of this year, Brian, and I sat down and I added up how many I had done. I looked at where we were at, and I'm going, wow, how did I get it all done? And how is this even possible?
Right.
Like I'm just so blown away. So yeah, that's kind of how I think about it, I guess. There's a few things that I'm having to force myself to think about, like possibly hiring another guy just so that I can keep my customers satisfied with what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. That's my main goal. Mm-hmm. I have built so many great relationships with people that I don't want any of those to go away. So how do I continue to have those relationships and continue the level of delivery and the level of what I'm doing? How do I maintain that into the thousands of properties? I have to scale up.
There's only so much time in the day.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
We've talked about that a few times off camera. This past year was another year where we implemented some things. I had Bethany join me full time, take over my calendar. Yeah. But I had already done it to myself before she got control of it. Uh-huh. And so I booked myself again. It's a hard thing to say no.
Yeah, it is.
Especially when you love to do this.
Absolutely.
And that's the hardest part about this is knowing when to take a step back.
Right.
And then we add another business, and then we add other things, and here, let's do this for fun, and all the things, and it quickly becomes not as fun because you're bombarded. Yeah. And this year, the goal is to do less, but more. Right. At the same time. Right. More big projects. Yeah. And that's what I want to do. That's where I'm always looking forward to the next challenge. Yeah. And I feel like I've conquered things. Yeah. And that's just an internal thing in my head. Yeah. If I feel like I've conquered this, I'm good. I want to go on to the next thing. Well, I don't want to keep spinning my wheels and being like, how can I do this same thing again and again and again and again? And
that's kind of in our nature. We're hunter gatherers is by nature what men are. We you put your focus on this thing till you get it. And then it's like, okay, I got it. What's next?
Right. Well, you mentioned like the goal thing. Like I remember the very first year that I did this full time, I left my job and the goal was to just be able to do it. Yeah. I didn't want to have to go back to the factory. That was the only goal. Yeah. I made that happen. Done. But I didn't set a new goal. Right. And I'm a very goal oriented person. Right. And so I like to set something that's like pretty extreme, pretty out there, but still attainable. Yeah. And then work backwards on how I can actually achieve that. Right. So like this year, the goal is to double my business monetarily. Yeah. It's not about the monetarily part. It's just so I can have a goal. Right. And I know that if what it takes to do that means that I'm going to have to do something that I've never done before. Yeah. That is the reason for the monetary goal. It's not for, hey, I want to make this much more money. Right. I'm good where I am, but it's possible. Right. And it's definitely possible. Right. And I've, listening to you, working with you, that's opened my eyes. Working with Nathaniel, that's opened my eyes. Yeah. I can do more. Yeah. And so sometimes you got to have some help. Yeah. That's the biggest leap ever is taking on another person in their livelihood with your business because so far you are the business until you aren't the only person in the business. Right. And it's a different feeling. Right. Having Bethany this year just take control of the schedule and client communications and all that stuff. Right. I love talking to people, but I also love doing this. Right. And I love doing this way more than that. Right. And so having someone who I could trust to come in immediately, we literally had one conversation. She's done it for 20 years.
Yeah, no, she's great.
She's more professional at it than I would ever be because I don't want to put it into that. That's what she's done. That's her expertise. Right. So having another expert come in and handle that part of my business for me, she's been able to handle that and super efficient, super easy. Yeah. And then I can worry about everything else. Right. And so that's just one aspect of this. And I'm like, what if I could find someone else to help me do this? Right. How much more could we do then? Right. That's the hard part though in our area is finding people that are, I don't want to just settle for someone that is okay.
Right.
I want someone who's as into this as I am and wants to help get it to the next level.
Right.
But the only people around here already have their own thing, like Nathaniel and Connor and you. So it's one of those where I don't know what to do at this point because I don't think it's going to have to be someone from here.
Yeah. But then you also have people that if they come in and they, you know, maybe they can shoot. All right. But you're constantly asking them like, hey, where's that? Where's this? Why isn't this done yet? What's going on? Oh, well, I was up till 2 a.m. playing video games. Okay. Well, maybe you should not do that.
Or talking to your girlfriend or whatever those things are.
So there's that too, is that like one thing that's hard to teach is just the grind of this. Because, I mean, it's not just getting up early in the morning and going and clocking in. It's not. It's different. It's a different mentality. It's a different mindset to get up every morning and have to look at the schedule that you've set.
Right.
And get up and go to that place and make that happen.
Right.
And then get home and make sure that all your cards get in the computer so that you can get all your stuff off the cards just in case.
All right.
And then just work until it's done. Work until it's done. You know, I guess I set little goals, you know, like I've got to get this video or this picture set completely done before I'll let myself get up and go to the bathroom. You know?
A goal is holding your pee. What is attributed to all your success last year? Holding my pee until I'm finished. But I'm going to have to implement that now.
But I know it's so dumb, but my head like works differently, and it always has. There's been those little things that I've always felt like I was wired wrong until I got into this doing my own thing, and everything that people used to gripe about me about are the things that are now making me succeed.
Right.
And so it's like unlocked an entire new thought process. And I don't even, you know, I'm not, you know, you were going back, we were talking about just growing the business. I seriously, Brian, before Christmas, I was talking to this guy that potentially want to hire. And I told him, I said, I feel like this area that you live in is an area that is going to start to grow. And I think that if I had you there, it would definitely grow. But I'm nervous about that. I'm totally honest. Nervous about it. I don't want to hire you without knowing that I can at least provide you with what you're currently doing.
Right.
Like, I don't think that's right. And no joke, Brian, 2 weeks after I talked to the dude, I got a phone call from a group in that area. Hey, our photographer's moving, going to France or something, and we're looking at a few different people. They called me. I just talked to them about what I do. And so far we've done several and everything's been great.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just got off the phone with another person just before I walked in here from that same area. I have not done anything to try and grow that area. Nothing. But yet I keep getting phone calls from that area because they see what I'm doing, or they get somebody says, hey, this person is who you need to call, or whatever. That is, I think, treating customers the way that I do and the way that I would want to be treated, and doing things the way that I do them is, after 5 years of doing it, now making it to where I don't have to go and cold call. I don't have to go knock on doors. I don't have to do that. I'm seeing the benefits of how I work now. And don't, you know what I mean? Just like I had a conversation with somebody at the basketball game the other night, and, you know, you came over and we talked for a minute, and then you went and did what you were doing. And they're like, hey, does he work for the school, or what does he do? And I'm like, no, he doesn't work for the school. He's part of Jacket Nation Sports and does all that. And I said, he is here for that, but also because people know who he is, and he wants to make sure that people know who he is in this area, because then you can post stuff about the senior pictures that you're taking.
Right.
And then that generates that business so that you can be at the basketball games, making sure that people see what you're able to do. You know what I mean? Like it's all this whole process. And I did it just by getting a few clients, and then those few clients talk to other people that become clients and talk to other people who become clients. And, and then it's just wild. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely wild. And so that's why I'm thinking that this next year, I'm 90% sure I'm going to add another person. And that's going to be the next phase of this, the next thing of that, and I've always been very big on, like one of the companies I worked at, they wanted to implement this new phone system. And I'm like, cool. I'm all for new phone systems. I can see everything on the computer. I can, move everything around. I can listen in on stuff if I need to. Like, cool. New system is great. They're like, well, you're going to, what do the prompts need to be when somebody calls in? And I said, what do you mean prompts? Whenever somebody calls in, I want it to ring my phone. And they're like, well, it doesn't work that way. I'm like, it's a phone system. Have it ring my phone and have it on a round robin to where it hits the other two people that work for me. And this person's phone rings, and then this person's phone rings, and then my phone rings, and then this person, like, why is it that hard? Well, when they get on the phone, they need to like have options of who they want to talk to. And I'm like, no, I want people to have I want that customer service experience, right? I want people to feel like they matter. I want them to feel like they're important to me. And the only way I really know how to do that is to talk to them and have a relationship of some sort. Even if it's just, hey, can I talk to this other person? Absolutely, man. Hope you have a great day. Here you go. Boom. Mm-hmm. That's just always been my dinosaur mindset, I guess, of I don't want to throw you into a prompt. I don't want to throw you into, the website. You need to go to the website to schedule. No, I want to talk to you, because if we have a snow day, I'm going to have to call you, and I'm going to have to find out, like, do you want snow pictures or do you not? Let's figure out another time where we can, like, that is the camaraderie of business. And I love it. I don't think
that's a dinosaur mindset. I think that's just a good individual mindset.
That's just,
you want to reduce the amount of friction.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
If someone's coming and calling into a customer service line, something's already probably went wrong.
Usually.
Or they perceived something as wrong.
Right.
So then introducing more friction points is only more frustrating.
It is.
So, like,
how many times have you been on the phone with UPS trying to find out where your package is? And you're like, representative.
Fun fact, you can just hit the number 0. You just keep hitting 0 and it'll put you through to an actual human.
I've wore out the number 0 sometimes. You know what I mean? It just puts you in this like continual loop of, just like this person that I just got off the phone with. I saw the number come up on my phone, looked like a legitimate number. I answered it. And she's like, oh, you answered your phone. I'm like, yep, I do.
That's what they're for.
That's what I do. I answer my phone.
Yeah.
And so I feel like those are the things that have made what I do successful.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that I can be a subpar photographer and still be successful because of the relationships that I've built.
Yeah.
I really do.
That's one of the things that I talk about a lot. I'm the person who's like, level up your skill set.
Yeah.
Always. But that's me. That's what I want to do.
You've pushed me to do that, though.
But also treat people the way that they should be treated. Like, I always say that.
People who are my customers and are repeat customers, like, I'm going to have a relationship. I have so many great relationships with people who have become customers.
That's the differentiator a lot. Like you just said, you could be a subpar photographer, but people know that you're dependable and they can count on you and exactly what they're going to get.
Yeah, every time.
If they may know that someone else might take the best photos, but they're going to get really great photos from you, and you're dependable, and you're going to answer your phone, have any questions answered.
Yeah.
That's going to win out every single time.
Yeah.
And we have examples of this happening recently.
It happens all the time.
Where someone, in this area, pricing is a thing.
It is.
So we've talked about that before.
Yep.
And I'm in my business to the point where it's a detriment to me to take on something under a certain point.
Right.
Unless I just want to do it for free.
Right.
Like at that point, I would just rather do it for the sake of doing it.
Right.
And my enjoyment of doing it.
Right.
But in terms of where I want the business to go, sometimes that's a hindrance, and some people just don't want to pay that price, even though I think it's a pretty fair price for what you're getting.
Right.
But I'm totally cool with that. There's been several examples recently where that happens. People go other places and they find out how they're treated by other people, and they come right back because they know exactly what they're going to get. Right. If they pay this amount of money, they're going to get more than that value.
Correct.
No matter what that price is.
Correct.
So, I mean, there's been 3 or 4 of those recently, and that's just a testament to you treating people. I'm not going to hound you for your business.
Right.
I want my work to speak for itself, and I want my dependability to speak for itself. You might have to wait slightly longer to get your project back from me, but you're going to get something really, really good. I promise.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm trying to work on internally too, is how to do that. We've set editing days now, something I've never had. Who knew that scheduling editing time?
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing.
So I have 2 days a week now set aside for editing specifically. And unless something just, obviously I'm not going to turn down something that's crazy on one of those days for the sake of doing it. It's just being a good human. I mean, a lot of what success is being a good person.
Yeah.
And especially in a relationship-based thing. And we're in a small-ish town. Yeah. Lebanon's growing a lot, but there's still a lot of small town aspects to it.
There is.
And it's all relationships.
It is.
And you keep burning bridges. Yeah. There's only so many bridges in and out of this town before you're on to the next.
Right.
So.
Right. And that even goes with this, we probably talked about, I've had a scarcity mentality. Like I want to do all of it. And if I don't do all of it, why didn't I get that?
Right. And
I'm finally to the point of I can't do all of it. and I'm okay if you go to another person, I get it. Like I understand. I really do. I'm like finally to that point. And you've helped me kind of get there because we can run in the same space a little bit. But what's cool is that we've had time to build a relationship over the last 5 years where, like when you guys needed some of the commercial stuff for Jacket Nation, you guys are like, hey, here's a list of stuff, schedule a morning and go knock out what we need on the drone side for all of this. And I'm like, done, let's do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like I know I love having the relationships, not only with my customers, but also with people that are in the same type of spaces, because then I get to go work on a project at a racetrack. I get to go work on a project at a big manufacturing facility and create probably the best safety video that they've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like, there's these cool things that we get to do together, even with another, I had another drone pilot in this town that shows up, and I'm like, at first I got upset, I got mad, and I got real defensive, and I was like, wait a second, why am I doing that? And so I reached out and I started a relationship, and I was like, and now we talk like once or twice a week, usually sometimes. And it's like, if I need something, I know I can call him. And if he needs something, he knows he can call me. Like, he called me the other day, man, I can't get my drone batteries to take a charge. What am I doing wrong? And we troubleshot and got it all working. Mm-hmm. And I have that I finally have had that ability to be able to have a relationship rather than have a competitor.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It really sucks whenever that's not an option. Sometimes
it's not an option. Like, pretty quick when it's not.
Yeah.
But fortunately, in a few cases, it has been an option. Mm-hmm. And I love it. I reached out to the guy at the lake that's doing that killer work. And I'm like, dude, you're really doing some good work. And if there's ever an opportunity that I could come in and poke my drone around a little bit, let me know, and hopefully we could get together at some point if the path cross. I'd love it. Mm-hmm. I'd love it because I know that what I'm doing is I've built something that is pretty locked in at this point. I know that some things could change, but I also feel like things are pretty good and moving forward good.
Right.
So I'm not as nervous or scared as I used to be. Mm-hmm. And that's just me, having that mentality of scarcity and I might not get that job or whatever. And,
right.
And that's something that I think for me, that has changed a lot in the last 5 years.
Yeah. That's been really cool to see from an outside perspective and a friend perspective, is that little bit of a shift.
Yeah.
And because that can really hold people back. If that's all you're concerned with is if someone else gets something, it can like eat at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it has literally nothing to do with you.
Right.
And if you're focused on this person and why they're doing whatever they're doing,
right,
that's just going to that's energy you could be putting into yourself. And,
right.
And so
100%.
Some people never get to that realization though.
Yeah.
And they're always just concerned with whatever someone else is doing.
Right.
And it ends up being a detriment to you.
Right.
And then it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy,
right,
because you're doing it to yourself.
Right. Right. And I've spent a lot of time in my own head, just trying to get out of my head and go, no, you need to focus on what's in front of you,
right, and
worry about what you can do right now. And if you don't get that cool opportunity, you don't get it. It's okay. It's okay.
But building up all that evidence, you got 5 full years of evidence of you doing this every day though.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
To build on.
Yeah.
We had that first conversation, the first podcast.
I was scared to death, dude.
Yeah. I was shitting my pants the whole entire time.
I was scared to death.
And now to just to see where we are, it's crazy now how everything has changed. We talked about in that first episode about what was next in terms of what you wanted to do next.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about you wanted to find your lane and figure out what that lane was. You're in that lane now.
I'm in it.
Are there anything that you're looking at?
Sometimes it feels like a gutter ball, but it's a lane.
Is there anything like you mentioned the guy from the lake that's doing cool, is there anything that you're looking at and being like, how can I pull this off next? Or are you in the, how do we scale what we're doing right now? I think that's kind of the mode you're in.
I think I'm more in the scale mode. I really am. I'm more in I've found a system that's working well in that lane. And so, obviously the lane I'm talking about is real estate media. This past year, I didn't get as many opportunities to go and just do drone work like I had a couple of years before, which was kind of a bummer a little bit, but financially it wasn't a bummer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm still, I can either take these jobs or lose these jobs, but if I take the job, then I have to reschedule all my real estate stuff, because if I'm gone for 4 days,
right,
that's 4 days of that I can't schedule real estate stuff. Mm-hmm. But I did get some opportunities this year. I want to do more stuff with the drone specifically, like with you, with other creatives. I'd love to. I really, really enjoy doing some flying and then handing it off and seeing what people do with it. Like, I don't know do you ever watch Beast Games? You ever watched Beast Games?
We just watched the episode last night.
Yeah, my wife and I watched 2 episodes last night, and I'm just like, all the FPV stuff that they're doing in there, I'm just like, oh, you're killing it. You guys are killing it. It looks so good. It looks so good because it fits with what they're doing and how they're doing it,
Mm-hmm.
flying into these things, and the transitions that they're making with it are so cool.
There's a behind the scenes episode on the Beast 2 YouTube channel.
Oh, is there?
Of the making of all that. And they talk with the FPV pilots that are on top. They're like on top of a big shipping container sort of thing.
I'd love
They're
that.
kind of over here,
That'd be
and
so
they have one of those Inspire drones.
Yeah.
And they're talking about the price of everything.
Yeah.
And if you mess up, they're shooting cannons at one point.
Yeah.
And the FPV guy
It's
comes
going
in
right into it.
right as the cannon comes out.
Let's talk about the cost of when you mess up.
Yeah, that's basically what they were talking about. And they're like, this drone's $15,000.
Yeah.
And then by the time you buy batteries and all the things, it's
Yeah.
$25,000 for that one.
Yeah.
And then they show like there's 45 of them.
Yeah. Well,
And it's
Mr.
like-
Beast has an endless budget.
Right.
But I'm not going to lie, the drone that's in the bottom of Lake Ozark right now still kind of hurts a little bit, because I had no control over it.
Right.
It wasn't pilot error. It was an issue with the radio signal.
Right.
And I really like doing that stuff. And even that the cost of stuff kind of got my head off on that. But what we were watching the X Games. I was watching the X Games, and there was a drone right behind the snowboarder going down the mountain,
right?
And getting some killer shots. And I'm just like, that is so cool that this is, and like we're doing that. Mm-hmm. Like we're doing that at football games. Like nobody else is following the football team
right
through the tunnel and out onto the field and getting the shots that we get on Jacket Nation. Mm-hmm. There's no other high school doing that. And I've told other pilots in the forums that I'm doing, they're like, how do I get more business? And how do I do this? I'm like, hook up with your live stream crew,
right?
And go fly for them and make some cool stuff. People mm-hmm. will start to see you
right.
and start to see what's going on. And, so I think I want to scale the business with the real estate stuff, with the bread and butter, so to speak, real estate stuff. But if I get an opportunity to fly another manufacturing facility somewhere, I'd love to take it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If I get an opportunity to fly again for the live stream at the shootout, hopefully they'll let me come back. This year I've got things figured out. I'm not going to put a drone in the water. I've had a solid signal ever since we figured it out.
Right.
And now it's good to go.
Put little floaties on it. Its feet.
I had a floaty on it, but at 80 miles an hour, it went, poof, right. It was gone.
Yeah.
So it landed in the water. It hit the water at that speed. Everything explodes.
Make a little pontoon.
I'd have to.
Sort of bottom for the.
They actually make little pontoon, little things that look like pontoons that you can put on. And there's actually a guy that's making drones that are completely waterproof, and he's showing them like popping in and out of the water and stuff. And I'm like, okay, we might have to talk.
It looks like those planes that can land on the water, sort of.
Yeah. But if they give me another opportunity, I want to, those are the kind of things like I want to pursue what's making the money, but I also have that little pet project like passion of chasing race cars, chasing drift cars, chasing mm-hmm. like doing some cool drone stuff, but this is my lane.
Right. Well, I mean, if you add on some help too, that could be one of those things where you're literally buying back some of your time to do that stuff.
Right.
And that's how I kind of view some of this stuff is
right.
I don't really want to, I know I have a formula for this area. I know I can post a post. If I post a post about senior photos, I will get 3 people messaging me about booking them.
Yeah.
So I could just spam posting about senior photos and get 3 bookings every single time. And I know that.
Right.
But that's not what I want to do. Right. I want to branch out. And I want to challenge, and I want to do the things. So like that's a fallback option. Right. I love senior photos and I love the sports and all the things. I got
another kid coming next year, so don't quit yet.
Well, it's not I don't want to quit doing it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to just do it because it's the thing making me some money.
Right.
Like a couple of years ago, I was still shooting a bunch of weddings, and it was over 50% of my business.
Right.
And I'm like, weddings to me are like at some point it's just 2 people getting married.
Yeah.
I love being there and I love being a part of it. I love capturing the thing, but weddings are not a challenge to me.
Yeah.
I know they are for a lot of people, and they're very artsy with their things.
Yep.
The way that I viewed it was I can either do it like this or I can go way above, and the price is going to have to increase a lot, which is going to eliminate me from this area.
Yeah.
So I didn't really want to pour that much into it that would be needed to do that. So I scaled that back and I flipped that to, I'm going to push the sports photos aspect.
Right.
I made that happen. That became like 80% of my business for 2 years.
Right.
And then I'm like, I want to go more in the higher production sort of route, the video production, all those things. And so that's this next year is how do I get into more of that?
And you had talked about that last year a little bit.
Yep.
And then the Jacket Nation thing happened. Right. So it kind of changed your focus a little bit.
Right.
And I think that's why maybe I post how I post sometimes, because I do post more drone flying fun stuff. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like I don't need to post don't need to post the real estate side of it because people know what I do there.
Right.
You know,
there's always a benefit to putting out what you do more, because you're seeing all the content that you're posting. And if you post the same exact thing all the time, you're thinking, oh, people are getting burnt out on this. But most of the time
they might not be.
They're not seeing it.
Yeah.
I think 80% of the audience doesn't even see it. It gets fed, and the more that it's engaged with, then it shows it to more people.
Right.
So you can post the same photo every single day, and there's going to be 3 people that get real annoyed with it. But everyone else is like, oh, I've seen this for the first time.
Yeah.
And so you got to think about that too,
right.
Especially when you go on the TikToks and the Instagrams of the world. The Facebook sort of algorithm locally is way more dominated.
Yeah.
But post on Instagram or TikTok and you're getting a national international audience.
But my TikTok videos get like 100 views.
How often are you posting, and how intentional are you with what you're posting too?
Yeah. I don't have time for that.
If you talk about how much money you're making with it, that's where you get out of that 100 view thing.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. And that's I had something that I was going to say, and then my old man just.
That's the dinosaur.
The dinosaur just went away. But it was on that same vein of, I think it was on. Oh, I do have. One of the manufacturing facilities that I actually flew to Texas to shoot. I've asked 4 times if I could use that to nope.
Yeah.
Like, seriously? So even when I do something cool, I can't post anything about it because because I have to respect that they don't want that out in the public.
Right.
So,
but you could have, I think a lot of this stuff is the thought process behind it. And that's something I've had to get way more intentional this year. I know that I want to make YouTube content.
Yeah.
But unless I intentionally film the stuff, I don't have it.
Yeah.
So, for instance, I ran around the other night shooting photos at a basketball game with a 360 camera on the top of my camera,
I saw that.
So that I have behind the scenes of me doing it, because I'm always behind the camera.
Can you do that one where you look up in your nose?
Oh, yeah.
Can you do that?
There's plenty of those shots. Yeah. Well, but something happened that day that's never happened to me too. The referee came up to me and he was like, hey, I'm about to retire. This is my last year. And I've always wanted to ref a game here at Boswell.
Really?
It's like apparently known as one of the best gyms in Missouri.
Really?
In the referee world.
Can we get better refs then?
This guy was really cool. And so he came up to me and he was like, would you mind getting some photos of us? And so like I took a picture of the refs together as 2 of his buddies and him. Yeah. And then I was like, hey, I'll get you some action shots too throughout the night. He was like, that's awesome. I'll give you my phone number later to send them to me.
That's cool.
So I have all that on camera now. And so now cool. I can make a little video of him asking me. And then I got really cool shots of them like calling and doing their thing. And so like now I have that, but if I wouldn't have thought about that beforehand, that wouldn't exist.
Did you get anything of like spectators yelling at them because the call was bad?
I don't know.
Did you get any?
That's the cool thing about 360 camera though, is you can go into after the fact and manipulate
that Tesla video that I shot was that was 360 camera on a pole that I was holding out. My hand was so cold.
Frostbite.
Yeah.
Right. But like that's a mindset shift.
Yeah.
But you have to intentionally think about that. So you could have made a story or made a cell phone video of you talking about going all the way to Texas or like a little vlog sort of a thing.
Yeah, and I didn't do any of that.
You got to do that, because then even if they don't allow you to post the project,
I've at least
you have all the other things besides the project. You know?
Yeah, because that was like the first time I flew with drones, which was crazy. Flew with batteries. I mean, yeah, it was a wild experience, but I need to do more of that, like behind the scenes kind of stuff. But my head, like I can't get the mindset to shift to that,
right?
You know, because if I'm working on behind the scenes stuff, then I'm not working on the other stuff,
right?
And the other stuff is what's, you know, it's just like going to the racetracks. You know, I'll go and fly racetracks a few times a year now, and I've scaled it back from when I first was doing it because it's not profitable. It doesn't make, you know, it's fun. It challenges my ability, but at the end of the day, I'm still buying batteries. I'm still buying motors. I had a couple of them smoke out this year that, you know, ended up on the track, and you know,
we won't talk about the walk of shame again. We mentioned that in the last one.
But you've got to pick I think in that same vein, I'm kind of being more choosy about the things that I do outside of my real estate lane.
Right.
You know, even with Jacket Nation, I know when the games are going to be, I know what we're going to do. And so that's kind of that is fun and it's exciting and I love to do it. It's fun. It's a blast to do.
There's nothing like that.
There really isn't. And to be able to, you know, to be able to have somebody in town, you run into somebody in town and they're like, man, those drone shots looked amazing on that live stream. And I'm like, yeah, thanks.
Right.
You know,
that's cool to hear from our perspective too, because that's one of the things that we try to do within that is promote you and see, it's the Nathan Warson drone shots.
I appreciate that. And
so like the fact that someone recognized you from that, I'll take that as a compliment as well, because that's so one of the things we want is we want to show off what the people in our community can do.
Yeah.
And not only the kids, but like your talents and
but
how we can come together and do this.
Yeah.
It's all for the kids.
It's all, for 100%. You know, we've got a great group of kids. We got a great group. Just the fact that they're allowing us to do what we're doing is awesome. You know, I actually was cleaning out my old car and found my lanyards, you know, and was like, sweet. I gotta put those in my stream box,
right?
You know,
keep it.
But yeah, just constantly trying to, as I get busier, I've got to focus time where I need to focus it. You know, you gotta get your main thing done, and then I can play a little bit on this other side,
right?
You know,
kind of a philosophical sort of a approach on this one. How has your perception of success changed? We've talked about money wise. We've talked about picking a lane and doing that. Has anything changed? Like success, what does it even mean? Is it monetarily? Is it you're fulfilled every day? You overcoming those mental barriers and blocks like we talked about with the scarcity mindset, like that's a success to me.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like that has been a success. I think when it comes right down to it, I feel like I'm living in success right now, honestly. And I don't want that to sound prideful at all, because I've worked hard to do what is happening. I think, you know, from the first podcast, if you go back and listen to it, you'll know that the way that I got into this full time was different than how you got into it full time. I didn't make this choice.
Right.
But I think I heard a story last week that put it into perspective. And, there's a guy in the area, not in Lebanon, but in the area. I'm not going to say where he was at.
Who is it?
I'm not going to say names, not with this story. But a year and a half ago, him and his wife, 3 kids. A year and a half ago, he lost his job and was not able to find another one. And the path that he chose was a path of numbness with substance.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, around Thanksgiving of last year, he took his life. And he did it in a really, really bad way, where it hurt the family incredibly bad.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard that story, my heart just sank because I know what it's like to lose a job that meant the world to me. Like, it was my dream job. And the choice that I made mattered at that time, because I could have gone down a path like that. I could have gone down a woe is me path. I could have sat on the couch and just sulked for more than I did. Right. I did do that. But now 5 years later, I hear a story like that. And my first thought, Brian, was I wish I'd have talked to him a year ago. I wish I could have talked to him a year ago, because I was able to get up and say, no, I'm not. My kids, my family, all of this means more to me than anything. And I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to fall apart. So sitting here 5 years later, this is success, Brian. You know, I have a wife that is amazing. I have 2 awesome kids. I don't, you know, if I want to get something, I just go get it. You know what I mean? Like everything's taken care of. Like, you know what I mean? Like what more could possibly define success to me than what I'm living right now?
Cool place to be.
Yeah. Rather than trying to figure out how I'm going to eat dinner tonight.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how I can hire another person to grow this even more and potentially make his life better too. Mm-hmm. Like, this is 5 years after, right? You know, you're doing the same. You know, you've got somebody working for you, second person kind of working for you, you know, and this is what that philosophical, like, the choices that we make. We have those choices, you know, and I chose to put my head down and focus on what I felt like mattered at the time. And I know that you and I've had that conversation at one point of off camera, like when you were having a rough day one day, I'm like, dude, you've got to just focus in. You got to focus in on what you are good at and what you do. And I think I've done that. I seriously, I think a year and a half ago is when I really started like poking my head back up and looking around a little bit more. And I'm like, you know, this is who I am now. I'm not that guy anymore. This is who I am. This is what I do. And this is where we're going.
You're on a train.
Yeah.
But you're driving the train.
Yeah. And it's not without struggle. I mean, I don't want it to sound like, oh, this has been awesome. Because there's some days I get home and I'm just okay. Like, we just had a great snowstorm. This is where I'm at right now. Right now. I have not put a drone in this snowstorm. Normally I'd have been all over it.
Right.
Putting a drone in the snowstorm, getting those shots, doing the thing. But this year I've been like, no, I think I'm just going to enjoy it. Just sit here on the couch and watch it, you know, and I don't feel like I haven't felt that pressure of, I have to show people what I can do, because they know. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to prove myself. I don't feel.
Yeah. That alone is success to me.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, we mentioned it in the very first podcast and the second one of what my goals were from the beginning, which were to have my name mean something that is positive. And somehow my kids get any sort of a positive association whenever they mention that they're a Sweno.
Right.
That's like the best feeling in the world as a parent, to know that you're positively impacting your kids by just doing what you're doing.
Right.
Not only raising them to be good kids, but also like just being associated with me.
Right.
Being a positive thing.
Right.
That's my reputation.
Right.
And that's something that I won't sacrifice for anything.
Yeah.
I will never put my reputation or my integrity on the line in any way for anything. And being able to live a life now to where I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about any of that. And my kids come home and tell me about, oh, hey, their teacher, Nyla, came home one day and said that 3 of her teachers came up to her and said that, oh, hey, I know your dad, you know, but in a positive way.
Yeah.
And then she was asking me about, you know, you taking her daughter's senior photos and a bunch of stuff. And I'm living it just the same as what you said. Like, it's we have the house, we're taken care of.
Yeah.
I get to provide for my family.
Yeah.
It's such a good feeling to know that what you're doing is making a positive impact on you and other people.
Yeah.
And that's where with the Jacket Nation side of things, we're trying to do more of the affecting other people part.
Yeah.
And there's only so much that my business can do, in terms of reaching other people other than the clients themselves.
Right.
And I feel like that does make a good impact, but
right.
Jacket Nation stuff is a community thing. It is ours, but it's a community thing,
right.
And the goal with that is always to level up what we can do to show off the kids and the hard work these kids are putting in. And a lot of that stuff goes unnoticed unless someone's there to share it. And we want to be the thing that's there to share it. And that's been a really cool outlet. Ramsey's been crushing it with sharing all the social media stuff and staying all those things. And
he's got a knack for interviewing these kids too.
Right.
He really does. Like some of the stuff I just laugh and I'm just like, nobody could have got that.
And now it's to the point where we're getting to where other communities are reaching out to us.
Yeah.
And they're like, our kids are jealous of what Lebanon's kids are getting.
Yeah.
Because of even just sitting down and talking, these are the things that no one's doing.
Nobody does that.
And that's a credit to him. Ramsey doesn't get as much props as he needs sometimes. No. And he crushes stuff like that.
He does.
I always joke that he's a teenager anyway, so he can be on their level, but like that's what more kids need. They want that. They want to feel like someone sees them.
Somebody matters.
I think everyone wants to feel like someone sees them, really sees them.
Right.
And he does a great job with that. And we're really fortunate to hopefully be scaling that up too, and potentially other communities and other things,
but still absolutely crushing this one.
Right. This is always going to be our priority.
For sure.
It's Jacket Nation Sports.
Yeah.
That's where we started. We grew up here. And so I won't be wearing other colors.
No.
But you never know.
The only time I wear purple is because I got a son at SBU.
Right. Make sure it says it clearly.
It says SBU on it. But in that same vein, your kids are younger, so they still talk to you. My sons are older, and I don't get the feedback like that from Nyla.
Right.
But I really hope that when my kid walks around at the high school, that that he can be proud of what I'm doing, and that he can see what I'm doing. What I'm doing is different from everybody else's dad.
Right.
I'm not a banker. I'm not a house builder. I'm not like I don't do all the things that these other guys are doing, but I am doing something, And
it's pretty cool.
And it's taking care of the people that matter to me, which is my wife and my kids. And, it's really, 10 years ago, this wasn't even a thing. What I do 10 years ago was not even a thing, but here we are.
Right.
Doing it.
Isn't it crazy whenever people ask about 10-year plans and stuff like that?
Yeah.
What you're doing didn't exist. Literally didn't exist.
It didn't. And that's another thing too, is that I'm learning. I've learned through all of what I've been through, the stuff we talked about at the first podcast. I don't consider myself really a photographer or a drone pilot or any of that, because all of that could change.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a season in my life where I was this. And when that fell apart and when that went away, I didn't know who I was anymore. And so if I have to figure out another way to make a living for my family, I want it to be smoother than the last time.
Right.
My son came up to me one day and he was like, you're what you do is going to be irrelevant in 10 years. And my answer to him was, that's fine. I'm going to make as much as I can in those 10 years, though. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability.
Right.
But what happens when I retire? What happens when I decide to set the camera down or
that's in like 3 years too, because you're a dinosaur.
I'm not that old. But what happens when I want to slow down? So many people retire and then they go into this depression because they what they've done all their life is who they are.
Right.
And I want to try to fix that before I get there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to say, yeah, that's what I did, but that's not who I am.
Right.
This is who I am.
Right.
This I can do whatever is put in front of me that I need to do for my family or for
who you are should show up in what you do, but what you do shouldn't be who you are.
Right. But we get that twist. Our minds twist that stuff up, man.
Right.
So
and
bad.
that's one of the examples of why I love to teach people so much and show off the ins and outs of this.
Yeah.
This business could go away.
Yeah.
People are always going to want to learn.
Yeah.
I feel like,
I should probably be better at that, but maybe in a few years.
That's the next sort of businessy step that I'm taking is I want to go a little bit more hardcore on the.
Should I create a masterclass?
Let's do it. I'll film it for you. Well, I've even talked with Nathaniel about making some like courses and things like that. Like there are people doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
If you can be one of the people doing it for the right reason, and people can feel that.
Yeah. And I think maybe that's why I'm not doing it, because I wouldn't do it for the right reason.
Right.
But maybe
you would,
but maybe in a few years I will.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's the reason, like you're not doing it because you're not one of the people that are just going to do something for a wrong reason.
No, I can't stand that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
But like, I love it. I love showing stuff.
You love doing things that you don't.
I like talking to the camera, and then, my views are nowhere right now. Like I had one random video pop off and get 35,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's crazy for having 100 subscribers.
Right.
But now I got 221.
Right.
Guess what? It's going up all the time. I'm averaging 9 right now every couple weeks.
Well,
so
that's
like
good.
That adds up to something.
And I've got set like 800 on my YouTube.
Right.
I'm not even enough to get monetized.
It's 1,000. So, but that's the thing. Like it's hard whenever we kind of talked about the conquering things.
Yeah.
That's how my mind kind of works.
Yeah.
And YouTube is a new challenge.
Yeah.
I got to figure it out. It's not like posting a video here, a couple thousand views and people who know me and all the things.
YouTube is wild.
No one knows me. It's an untapped thing and it's global.
Yeah. YouTube is a wild
If you can harness that beast, then you got a lot going for you. It's not always views and things like that, but I want to, I guess.
And what's crazy is my favorite YouTube channel right now is this guy in Chicago who works on cars. And I've always been a car guy. But all he does is he buys a car, and it's kind of been random, but he buys something and then he'll work on it and put it all together and make it all like as perfect as he can get it. And then he'll buy something else. And then it's just, and every video is like an hour.
Right.
And I'll turn them on while I'm editing. And it's perfect. It's great. I can't wait for the next one. I always, because he's also into the same kind of cars that I used to be into, like in the 90s and early 2000 cars. But he's figured out this niche of people that like this car content, that just like when people just wrench on a car, and his personality kind of comes out all the time, and I think that's where I don't have that personality. I don't think.
All right. I think you have more of it than you give credit to.
It's just crazy because he talks to a camera and makes it feel like you're literally there with him. And he does a really good job of it. Yeah. It's pretty wild. So if you can conquer that, I agree that, some of the stuff that I see that pops off is wild, like I was just watching a video earlier today of 3 YouTubers that went down to Miami, and the whole goal was to buy some 5,000 and under cars and drive them around Florida doing crazy challenges. And that's what they did.
Right. The challenge videos get a little out of hand sometimes.
They can. Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about Mr. Beast a little bit. Yeah.
That whole thing is wild.
What I think is kind of cool right now in terms of YouTube is everything went from vlog sort of style where you got that connection to the Mr. Beastification, they call it, where everything is so over the top, and that's the whole point of it is to be over the top. Right. But now people are starting to go back towards the human connection side and watching the guy in his garage with that car for an hour, the attention span is starting to go back towards needing a little bit more human connection. And I think that fits with what I want to do in terms of connecting with someone. If one person watches that video and I'm showing an editing tip or whatever, I know I've impacted you, and I've impacted 50 people in our local area coming to classes and doing stuff that have learned at least something from me that you could take on.
Yeah.
You know? So if you can expand that, and that's my goal, is to just expand that. I don't care about the metrics per se.
Right.
I do care about making a difference though.
Yeah.
In a positive way. So that's my goal, is to scale that a little bit.
Yeah.
To make that positive impact. Yeah. Not just local. So.
Yeah. And I think that's where I'm at. You know, like I said earlier, popping my head back out, and finally it took a few years of just focus before I can even think about, okay, how can I make an impact on something? Mm-hmm. You know, because I need to impact my family right now. Right. That's who I need to focus in on, is me and my family, and just making sure that we're good. And then I can worry about some other things,
right?
You know, try to make and I think I'm just now starting to get into that thought process of how could I impact something? How could I?
Right. Well, we talked in the first episode too about creatives being in the clouds a little too much sometimes, and needing to come back down to reality.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel the opposite needs to happen as well.
Yeah.
Is where, if, you know, we're nose to the grindstone so much, sometimes we need to pop our head up and see how far we've came. And that's, I think, why I like this episode so much, and to keep going on this, you know, every January, sit down and just have a conversation about how far we've come.
Right.
It's crazy to just sit and recognize and talk with someone else who's in the same thing. And
and this was the first year for me. This was seriously the first year for me that I sat at the house and really had that, like, what have I done moment.
But in a good way.
In a good way. Yeah, it wasn't like 5 years ago I was like, what have I done?
Right.
You know, but now it's like, look what's happened. Like, I never expected any of this.
And the best feeling in the world is knowing that you made it happen.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And it wasn't even, I didn't force it either. It was just this is what I feel like I'm supposed to do right now. And let's just do it. See what happens.
So to wrap up, what's next? What's the next evolution of Warson Media, and where you want to go? You got a kid that's going to be graduating
next year.
You're going to be an empty nester.
Actually, one's graduating college and probably getting married, and the other one is going to be graduating high school next year.
What's on the horizon? Next year, whenever we rewatch this episode, what will have happened?
What will have happened? What's
your goals essentially for this year?
I think my goal for this year is to stay in the lane mostly. And I want to stay in the lane. I do want to grow a little bit, make the lane bigger. You know what I mean? Like, funnel wise,
making it a 4-lane road instead of a 2-lane.
Yeah. Be able to shoot more and edit more and more, as it comes to me. Obviously, I mean, I'm not gonna force that either. I haven't had to, so why start forcing it, right? I think that after the dust settles with kids, there's some things in my head about slowing down, you know, spending some time with the wife, because she's getting close to retirement too. She's got like 3 years, I think, and she'll have her time in at the school. And so, you know, I think we're probably gonna do more together and not as much, you know. I don't know. I want to.
What you're saying is you're going to make her a drone pilot.
Yes, I'm going to make her do more.
And that's how you're going to scale from a 4-lane to an 8-lane.
Yes, she's going to do. I don't know, but I want to be able to pick and choose what I do.
Yeah.
I think at some point, I want to figure out how to make this lane continue to go on its own. Mm-hmm. Whether that be, all right, it's time to sell off this side of it and just kind of let somebody else take it and run, and me do projects that I just want to do, you know? Gosh, that's scary to think about. But there's going to be an evolution of this somewhere,
right?
That makes it to where I can spend more time with grown kids and families that they create, which is really wild to think about too, and spend more time.
That's hopefully not in this next year.
Not in this next year, no. But
Grandpa Warson coming 2027?
No, but it's 2 or 3 years out, possibly. You know, for 4.
Right.
That's not that far. That's really not that far. We've been doing this 5 years, man. This is not that. 4 years is not that far.
And the amount of time we had that first podcast to now, that's the amount of time you're talking.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so
you're definitely old enough to be a grandpa.
Shut up. Yes, I am. But I want to spend more time with my wife, not just sitting on the couch editing. Right. You know what I mean? I really want, there's a ministry that really helped us out whenever I went through what I was going through that we've volunteered at before. And I'd really like to spend some more time. I could go into the whole thing, but it was very transformational for me, making this transition. And I would love to pour back into that some, because when you have something happen, when your focus is full-time ministry and church, and that all goes away, and then you have to focus on something else. I'm not the only one that's had to do this. In fact, I just talked to another guy that had this happen when I was at a shoot. I went to his house and shot, and I was like, "What's going on, dude?" And he was like, "This is what's going on." And I was like, "Okay, we need to talk." Right. You know what I mean? So there's people that deal with what I've gone through and are still going to be doing that. And I want to pour into that a little bit. And it's a very niche, it's a very small thing, but those people matter too, you know?
Well, your story of the guy that you talked about earlier.
Yeah. I mean, those are
the things that impact people like that.
Right.
And you never know what difference that's going to make until, unfortunately, it's too late sometimes.
Right. And I don't know that I would ever start a nonprofit or something that would help that, but I definitely can jump in on this one that helped me.
Right.
You know, and I think we want to do some of that. We want to, I want to go spend some time at a beach somewhere, just hanging out and not feeling
tan the cheeks a little bit,
not feeling the pressure of having to just crank out work all the time.
Right.
I don't want to grow old and just feel like I've worked myself to death.
All right.
So we'll see what happens.
Grandpa Warson coming. That's what I took from that.
Yeah. We'll see when the boys do that, but hopefully not soon.
Right. I saw Case at the basketball game.
Yeah. With his girlfriend.
Came back.
Yeah.
Support the little bro a little bit.
Yeah. He came back, brought his girlfriend.
That was cool. It was cool to see him.
He couldn't keep himself off the drum set. I don't know if you saw him go up there, but
I didn't.
He went up and played a couple of pep songs.
Oh, nice. If I would have saw that, I would have took some photos of it.
Yeah, he couldn't. He was sitting there and he's like, I got to go up there.
Right. I did hear the drums got a little better.
Yeah.
So maybe that's whenever he was up there.
Oh, they were doing a good job. But it's crazy to think, that when he brings a girl home and it's like, she just kind of fits, you just know that like something's going to happen. They're going to be together for a while. And, I'm proud of both my boys. They're both just really working hard and Ty's actually passing classes that I couldn't pass.
Right.
So that's an important thing. So we'll see. And I've got, that my youngest is starting to get interested in drones and interested in what I'm doing. Like he's kind of getting to that age where it's like, he's starting to notice like Dad works a lot, but he doesn't tell me no very much on what I need. And I think he's noticing, what I mean? I think there's a point where you start to notice that this stuff doesn't just grow on trees. You got to go make it and earn it and make it happen. And so seeing him get interested in what I do is really cool, but also scary because I don't know if he'll like Boss Dad, because Boss Dad is worse than Dad.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes.
Right. In that same vein, I had Mary help me a little bit, my fiance Mary.
Oh yeah.
How'd that go? Lasted 3 days. So if it's anything like that, I can.
Yeah. It's kind of
that was before Bethany, I was like, I'm going to try keeping it in the household for, it lasted 3 days and I had to fire her.
And then you're like, listen, Mary, I know your lane.
Your lane is, let me take care of you. It'll be all right. You just sit back and relax a little bit.
So, but you get what I'm saying on that. I think that's, I'm looking at the future a little bit, but really I feel like I'm 47 and I feel like this is prime time right now. 47
entering in the prime,
47 to about 52, 3, 4, something like that.
Right.
And then
crazy.
I know.
I just turned 34 and I feel like an old man.
Well,
can only imagine what you feel like over there.
Some things creak that didn't used to creak,
I've been down to pick up the drone and have to have help getting back up.
Yeah. It's like, my back.
Yeah. I can't say anything. I threw out my back last year playing ping pong against my son. So
yeah, nice.
I can't really.
I did do a property last week, and it was the first one of the year that I really had to like hike back from the lake back up to the top, and I'm just like,
need to get one of those little hover rounds and start going around with it.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
We'll wrap up. We've been, I don't know.
How long have we been talking? It's probably too long.
About an hour and 45 minutes.
It's always
so. That's right around where they are.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you before we get off here, like always, appreciate you and what you do and friendship and all the things. You've really, really helped me, especially this last year. I don't get in my head too often. I kind of pride myself on that. And there's been some times where you really came in and helped me just friends wise.
Yeah, man.
And it means a lot. And just being here to do this even, you know.
Same.
We're going to continue to level up, and I can't wait to see what all we do and where you go and Grandpa Warson and all the things. So thank you for being who you are and doing what you're doing. And
appreciate it.
I know Ramsey also would say the same. We appreciate you and pouring into us, and hopefully we can do the same. So
yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the friendship for sure.
At least one podcast episode in 2026 is being filmed. So
here it is, right?
Hopefully there's more, but hit the subscribe button if you want some more. Potentially, maybe this will be a thing. I made 2 last year, and so we're going to see what happens this year. So thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Brian.